Hey there, Nocturnes! Welcome back to English Me. Dito sa Nocturnal Sage, a guide for those left in the dark. Ako nga pala ulit si Kuya N, ang inyong class president. Nung nakaraang meeting with Sir Jeremy, diniscuss natin yung tungkol sa cognitive approach na tutunan natin na pwede nating aralin yung isang binasa o pinanood base dun sa response natin bilang mga mambabasa, pero gagamitin natin ang neuroscience para masuportahan yung ating limbs. Talagang controversial yung pag-uusapan nating approach kasi ito ay nakaani ng mga criticisms. Lahat naman siguro ng approach nakaani ng mga criticisms mula sa iba't ibang experts sa literary studies or film studies. Pero itong approach na to, ang pinaka-problematic dahil misto lang wala kang malalaman wala kang knowledge o katotohanan na makukuha kapag ginamit mo yung approach na to, kasi yung approach na to lahat talo, walang panahalo sa approach na to. Bakit kaya ganun? Alamin natin kung bakit walang panalo sa approach na to sa pamamagitan ng pakikinig kay Sir Jeremy. I-discuss niya ang deconstruction, ang panibagong approach para sa gabing ito. Kaya samahan nyo na ako sa ating klase with Sir Jeremy ngayon. Oh English me, oh English me, gusto kong matuto ng Ingles pero hindi alam kung paano. Good evening, class. For tonight we shall study another approach, and this approach is deconstruction. What is deconstruction all about? It's exploring the conflicting meanings that a certain work produces beyond the traditional hierarchical relationship between ideas. This would take time for you to absorb, so let me break down the example into the following. Let's have speech and writing. In traditional viewpoints, speech and writing are evaluated based on authenticity. Which mode of writing delivers a more truthful message? Obviously, when we speak, we articulate whatever is on our mind real time. So the award goes to speech based on this viewpoint, okay? But when we transfer to another discourse, okay, when we deconstruct the traditional way of seeing things, we arrive at a new dimension. So from authenticity, we go to order. Now, based on order, it's writing that comes first. How? When we speak, we actually use borrowed signs and symbols. And even if we do not know the original producer of these signs and symbols, we can nonetheless reproduce them. And furthermore, a number of these signs may have first appeared in written communication. So if that's the case, speech is dependent on some writing practices. Alright, so does that mean that we should consider writing more important than speech? No, not necessarily. Because in deconstruction, the aim is simply to move from one discourse to another, not reverse the ranks. Reversing the ranks is still being stuck in the same kind of logic where we rely on a certain absolute truth that we can be sure of. In deconstruction, it's simply acknowledging that this way of seeing things is as valid as the other way. So it's not to make the differences between writing and speaking disappear, but rather is to acknowledge that writing is writing and speech is simply speech. Not one is better than the other, nor vice versa. Let's analyze Beauty and the Beast using the deconstructive approach. Let's evaluate three main characters based on the following viewpoints. Aesthetics. So this is the traditional viewpoint. Based on pop culture, one would argue that Gaston is handsome, Belle is beautiful, while the Beast is extremely ugly. Because in popular aesthetics, we look at the physicality. And in our culture, as far as Western culture is concerned, the physical features of Gaston and Belle conform to the stereotype of what constitutes actual beauty or handsomeness. But the Beast obviously doesn't. If we travel from this discourse to another perspective of seeing things, this time social power, one could describe Gaston as a great influencer. And we can see this in his ability to persuade the people to come with him and raid Beast's castle in order to kill him. Belle is perceived as an outcast because of her love for books, which is uncommon for female villagers like herself. And probably we can safely assume that Belle has no friends in the poor French village where she lives. And the Beast Prince is obviously the owner of his castle, so he has control and command over his servants who turned into pieces of furniture. Let's travel once again. This time, let's look at the morality perspective. So, based on morality, Gaston feels he's evil, and we can see that in his lustful desire to kill the beast so that he can have Belle for himself. While Belle is protective, we can see her efforts to stop Gaston from raiding Beast's castle and confessing that she loves the beast despite his appearance. And then the beast, after the last rose petal falls, okay, in the ending, we can see that he turns back into a human being, which is proof that he has learned how to love and he has been loved in return. If we use a bird's eye view of all three perspectives we've explored, we can conclude that no character among the three is the best. What we did is simply travel from the popular aesthetics world to the morality group. And the traveling is actually the goal here. The traveling from one perspective to another. That's deconstruction. It's not logocentrism where we believe in a particular truth that we can be sure of. The controversial nature then of deconstruction is it's impossible to know anything for sure. As at least for sure. We can never be sure of what we can really know because if in deconstruction we acknowledge different perspectives, there's no winner, so there's no way of actually knowing something confidently. It's simply acknowledging whatever perspective is right in front of us. That is what makes deconstruction controversial because of the non-attainment of knowledge. Are you okay? Continue surviving in the dark for the next approach.
Oh English me, oh English me. Gusto kong matuto ng Ingles pero hindi alam kung paano. Sino ang magtuturo? Gusto kong matuto na talaga. Oh English me.
Word of the night. Bibliophile. Noun. Ang first three na makakapag-comment sa baba ng meaning at ng kanyang original sentence ay magkakaroon ng special mention sa susunod na episode. Kaya ano pa hinihintay nyo, Nocters? Mag-comment na kayo sa baba bago mag-Friday para masama sa editing ang inyong posts. Kung nagustuhan ninyo ang episode na ito, pakilike naman dyan sa baba. Tapos kung may mga katanungan kayo o suggestion, mag-comment na lang din. I-share nyo naman ang video na to o kaya yung buong playlist mas maganda sa mga kakilala nyo nagtitake ng AAP. Kasi alam nyo naman na sa panahon ngayon ay kanya-kanya ng diskarte sa paghahanap ng reliable references. Kasama na dyan ang Nocturnal Sage. Kung naniniwala kayo mag-join din kayo sa ating private Facebook group. Ang tawag doon, The Nocturne Space. Kung nahihiya kayo, isa publiko yung inyong saloobin sa babae, meron din naman kayong safe space para magpahayag ng nadamdamin o ng kaisipan na hindi kayo mahuhusgahan kasi ang mga kasama ninyo sa Nocturne Space ay mga kagaya natin na mahilig sa mga di pangkaraniwang usapan na hindi na pag-uusapan sa pangkaraniwang hapag o pagsasama. Kasi pag hindi talaga pangkaraniwan yung gusto mo, huwag mong asahang tatangkilikan yan ng mas nakakarami na karaniwan. So kung kabilang ka dun sa hindi pangkaraniwan, tamang-tama sa'yo ang Nocturne Space. Higit sa lahat, mag-subscribe. Saka itap niyo yung notification bell para hindi kayo mahuli sa anumang updates namin. New episodes every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Ang Nocturnal Sage ay nakatuon sa 4 na larangan. Ang una ay self-conquest. Kung ikaw ay may pinagdaraan ng mga dark emotion kagaya ng anger or lack of confidence, pwede ka naming tulungan para pagdaanan yung mga ganitong damdamin na walang medical prescription. So, more on introspection, more on mindfulness training, yung mga ganon. Pangalawa ay communication. Kaya nga may English me eh. Pero bukod doon, pwede namin kayong tulungan na magkaroon ng added self-confidence kapag nagpa-public speaking. Ngayon ay pinagmumunihan ni Sir Jeremy na gumawa ng playlist para sa oral com na ang isa sa mga pinaka-paboritong subjects ng senior high dito sa Pilipinas. Kaya dagdagan nyo naman ng subscribers yung channel na to para naman mas marami pang mag-benefit at matulungan ng Nocturnal Sage. Pangatlo ay leadership. Kung ikaw ay bagong halal na student council officer o kaya bagong promote sa trabaho, tapos gusto mong malaman ang basics na paghawak ng mga tao, mas lalo na yung mahihirap kausap at mas nakatatanda, pwede ka tulungan ni Sir Jeremy dyan kasi forte niya rin ang leadership and management. Pang-apat ay expansion. Kung naghahanap ka ng fulfillment sa sarili mo at hindi mo nakakuha sa kahit gaano pa kataas yung sinasahod o sinisweldo mo, kahit gaano pa kataas yung grades mo, ang self-fulfillment kasi o kasiyahan ay hindi na tatanong yan sa kung ano yung binibigay sa'yo. Mas mararamdaman mo na ikaw ay self-fulfilled o kumbaga kompleto o ganap kapag nagagamit mo yung iyong talento, ang iyong kakayahan, ang kasanayan mo para mapaunlad yung buhay ng mga iba. Kaya sa expansion na aspekto, pwede ka naming tulungan para malaman kung anin bang mga kasanayan o kaalaman ang dapat mong hasain pa para maging successful ka sa isang partikular na gawain. Pwede ang gawain ito ay hindi pa kilala, hindi pa nare-recognize kasi hindi pa siya industriya, pero pag natuklasan mo yung gawain ito, pag sumikat na yung isang bagong industriya na papalit sa yung kung anong merong industriya ngayon, isa ka sa magiging pioneers at wala nang ibang makakatalo pang self-satisfaction doon. Kaya doon sa expansion, mas makikilala mo na ang iyong sarili. Salamat sa panonood! Ako muli si Kuya N. Kita-kits sa susunod na episode ng English Me dito sa Nocturnal Sage, a guide for those left in the dark.